Well, my name is Jamie Sparks. This is my wife, Angela Sparks, my oldest daughter, Kayla, and my youngest daughter, Lily. And we're here because Lily has AHC.
She still has 2 to 3 days during the week where she is in partial paralysis. And about once every 2 weeks she has a full body episode. And it normally only lasts, the partial ones last pretty much on and off all day. And then the full body ones last normally under 20 minutes. We give her normally Diastat whenever she's in full body, and that helps take her out of it quicker.
At about 4 months old, we thought she was having seizures. The first time we saw her do something odd, she was actually in my arms. At that time, at 4 months old, her head was here and her whole body laid in my forearm. And while I was holding her and looking at her, all of her arms and legs went stiff and out to the side, and she started with an eye nystagmus where one eye started ticking out to the side. At that time, we took her at 4 months to the emergency room. Over the next couple of months, we were in and out of the neurologist's office, and she was diagnosed with epilepsy. However, none of the drugs were working, and they continued to give more drugs, more doses, heavier doses, and nothing was working. And that's when we started kind of a quest to figure out what was wrong with her. The local neurologist was one of the best in the area, and a lot of the other neurologists didn't really want to see her just for the fact that they're like, you're already being seen by the best in the area. So we ended up, this is while we were at Salt Lake City, Utah, and my wife Angela took Lily down to Phoenix and was seen by, do you remember his name?
William Deering.
Yeah, William Deering. And he said it was not seizures. He didn't know what it was. It was some type of movement disorder. But also didn't feel like the eye nystagmus was part of it at the time. So sent us to see a neuro-ophthalmologist. And the neuro-ophthalmologist said, well, I don't really see anything wrong with your daughter's eyes. I think it is connected. We want you to see a friend of mine who's also a specialist in unusual, weird movement disorders. And that turned out to be Dr. Swoboda. And Dr. Swoboda was funny because it was a month or two before we were actually able to see her, but she had her first actual full body hemiplegic attack while she was in Dr. Swoboda's office. And at that time, Dr. Swoboda pretty definitively said she has AHC.
Yeah, she was 10 months old. We didn't see Dr. Swoboda until she was 10 months and 3 days. And the day that she turned 10 months old, she went full body for the next 3 days. And Dr. Swoboda got to see her right then and there and was like, yes, this is what she has. So we're one of the rare cases that get it diagnosed so early. 10 months, 3 days is a rarity to be diagnosed. No, there's still so much that's not known about this disorder. Treatment hasn't changed at all since we were first diagnosed until now. She doesn't respond to the flunarizine, and so that is one drug that didn't help her, and we did take her off of it. The only thing now really is Diastat, and that has been pretty much the go-to drug since the beginning also. The one thing now is just having more doctors know about this disorder, so you're not going into a doctor's office and trying to educate them. Or we've even been told by some doctors that we're making this disorder up at the very beginning, that it was all in our head and there was no such thing as AHC. Yes, if you complete that. So now we walk into a doctor's office and they have at least heard of this disorder. which is, that's amazing. It's a wonderful feeling not to have to really start from the beginning and convince them that this is a real disorder. It's about 2 to 3 days during the week that she's in some sort of paralysis. Oh, yes.
Yes.
We've never gotten it less than 2 days a week that she's been in paralysis. And she is one of the ones with seizures. And unfortunately, we have not been able to control her seizures. The best we can get it down to is 4 seizures a week right now. She's on 3 different medications and a VNS implanted just to even get her down to that. So.
That happens quite frequently with Lily. If she has a really bad episode, she will lose. And usually what happens is whatever the most recent thing she learned is one of the first things that disappears. So if she could say 20, 30 words and then she has a real bad episode, those last 20, 30 words are what's going to go away.
And she's had in her time, from the time she was really 10 months old until she was 5 years old, she lost all of her skills 3 different times where she lost everything and became a newborn baby. She had to learn how to roll over, how to sit up, how to stand. And it normally took about 2 years for her to be able to relearn those skills that she lost. So, it's been a learning curve also for that.
Occasionally when she has really bad episodes, she has a tendency to lose skills. And usually when that happens, she has a tendency to lose whatever skills she most recently gained. So whatever, like if she recently learned how to count to 20, and then she had a really bad episode where she lost all her skills, that most recently learned skill, like counting to 20, would be the first thing that went away.
And it's just gone.
It's gone, completely gone. She has to completely relearn it. She'll be able to relearn it. She'll be able to relearn that skill, but it's difficult.
Like an example is last summer, she was having quite a few episodes. We were moving across the country and really bad episodes, and she lost the ability to really speak. She was saying quite a few words. She was babbling. She was trying to repeat everything everyone said, and that ability was gone. And she is just now, a year later, relearning that ability. It is a very slow-moving process.
A couple of things with Lily that we've had to deal with, that again, it's one of the peripheral things that has to do with AHC, is the AHC is the foundational condition, but several of these children have a tendency to develop additional diagnoses. And 2 things that Lily has developed is, one, she has a hard time chewing. She's the muscle fatigue not only affects her arms and her legs, her torso, it also affects her jaw, her swallow ability. So she just simply can't eat all the food she needs to eat. She likes food, she likes the taste of food, but she can't physically eat enough before becoming exhausted to nutritionally maintain her health. So she also feeds by G-tube. We do 3 feeding tubes a day through a gastronomy tube. And that has really been, when we first had it done, a lot of people were very upset about the fact that we put a G-tube in, but it's really been a blessing for us, not only for getting the nutrition she needs to thrive into her, but also for medicines and everything else. It's made our lives much more bearable. Instead of trying to feed her spoonful by mouth, we can now do a feeding tube and kind of be on and do things as a family together. And then the second one is the epilepsy. She has developed epilepsy too, and we are having a hard time maintaining that and controlling that. She's on 4 different medications, 3 different medications, and also a vagal nerve stimulator. It's almost like a little pacemaker inside her right above her left breast, and it goes up and connects to a wire on her vagal nerve and stimulates her brain to help keep the seizures under control. And even it hasn't stopped them, it just reduces her recovery time afterwards. She's not as fatigued or lethargic after having a seizure, thanks to that.
But I would also add in just her daily life. She could be moving one moment, and you could tell she loves to move. She can crawls around, she climbs on tables, and then the next moment just be totally paralyzed and not be able to do anything. I think that's the sad part about this condition is our kids really are limited on their stress level and living a normal life, because you can't live a normal life and be in paralysis. At some point in time, that just kind of takes over your life.
And she really loves to move, like my wife was saying. She loves to climb, she loves to crawl around and explore. And when she has this episode, you can see it is how frustrating it is, especially when she knows it's coming. She'll start to have weakness in one side or start to lose one side, and you can just tell the determination. She is so determined to try to still fight. We've even seen her before completely lose one side of her body and still commando crawl, pulling herself across the floor with one hand, trying to get to what she wants to do. And just sheer determination keeps her moving. And then, we've seen her where she's lost both sides, a full attack, and, you can see her crying just because she wants to sit up. She wants to do something she wants to do, and she can't. She's trapped in her own body for, could be minutes, could be days. And it's really frustrating for her. She is starting to regain the skills, her talking skills. She, after a bad episode, lost some of those skills. And it's taken about a year for her to get back to where she can communicate. She's talking. It's easier for us and family and people that are around her more often to understand her, but she's getting better every day, being able to speak. We also are using a program on her iPad, and she plays with it some, like any kid would, but more and more we're starting to realize that she's using it more for communication. She's letting us know what she wants, and that's been a big help. And we also have realized just in the last couple of years that she understands a lot more than we even gave her credit for. Even though she may not be able to speak to us with any level more than maybe just a toddler, she understands a lot. Even when we're speaking in fairly big words, she really understands what's going on. We have to watch out about that too when we're talking to professionals, because we'll start talking about her and you can tell she's becoming self-conscious, shy, and she gets upset because she doesn't want to be talked about, especially talked about in the third person. She's really wanting to be more of the focal point of the conversation.
No, she has never had that ability.
It looked like she might have been able to start walking around 18 months old, maybe 2 years. But she had quite a few bouts with pneumonia, with really bad attacks, and that was one of the skills that she lost, and she's just never regained. Now she can crawl. I can put her into a room and she can be gone. She is actually
Yeah, you can crawl.
She's actually developed some skills to be able to protect herself, so even if she falls, she kind of falls backwards onto her butt instead of forwards onto her face. She's really good about making sure she's safe, and she's very fast. So she can crawl, but she's never been able to walk. There's definitely some triggers that set Lily off, one of which is water. I think most of these children, water is a huge trigger for them to cause them to go into a hemiplegic attack. Another one, exposure to heat or cold or sunlight. Being exposed to sunlight too long kind of wears her out. She's also very empathetic. If she's in a room with people that are upset, or a baby's in a room, just one baby in the room's upset, she really tends to take that sadness on for herself, and then that can trigger a hemiplegic attack. You gonna wave at the camera?